Welcome to Gentle Restorative. My name is Sandra. This is Anna. She doesn't want to go upstairs because it's raining and she's quivering. So she's going to see if she can make it through yoga with us. So, like her, let's take a comfortable seat. Close your eyes. Take a nice deep inhale. And let it go. Give me another deep breath in. Big exhale. Perfect. And then, wow, she's really on alert. Take the arms up. Bring the palms together and exhale them home to your heart in prayer pose, where we will pause to set a fabulous intention for our practice. And when you're ready, just go ahead, release the hands and close your eyes for a moment. So I want you to imagine that sitting before you on the floor is a very yummy looking steaming cup of hot chocolate. And it's your cup, so you decide if there's whipped cream on top or maybe marshmallows or sprinkle some pumpkin spice if you want to. And the steaming part's for effect, because when you pick it up to drink it, it's not going to be too hot. It's going to be perfect. And I just want you to imagine, just go ahead and lean forward a little bit, hinging from the hips. Get a good whiff of that chocolate smell. And then lean back away. And we don't even have to use the hands to pretend we're picking up the cup. I just want you to imagine that you're taking a sip of that warm hot chocolate and really taste it. Its richness, its sweetness, perhaps its creaminess. I guess it depends if you made yours with milk or with water. And then when you swallow, right, you can feel that warmth just gently traveling down the body. So giving you one guess what our theme is about. Oh, Anna said it first. Hot chocolate. That's right. Good job. All right. So open your eyes. Let's grab some props and let's set up a restorative pose, shall we? All right. But I lost my bolster there for a second. All right. Bolster is going right behind you, vertically. Grab a block. Prop up the far end. And then go ahead and sit all the way back so you can feel that bolster against you. And lay back. Let's go ahead and stretch out the legs. And then point through the ankles. Take the arms all the way overhead. Big inhale. And when you exhale, you can bring the arms back down and relax the feet. So, I don't know, perhaps you've noticed this, but I guess one of the hottest crazes lately are those cocoa bombs, those hot chocolate bombs that you look like a ball and the hot chocolate mixes inside the hardened chocolate. So you put the cocoa bomb in your mug and then you pour the hot milk or hot water over it and you get to watch it melt and it breaks open and all the insides, the hot chocolate powder, and if there's marshmallows in there, come gently spilling out. And so it got me thinking about, well, hot chocolate. Hot chocolate itself dates back to the Mayans, and it was a very bitter drink because at that time they didn't add any sweeteners to it. And so why would they drink it? It was very difficult to drink. It didn't taste very good, but it was thought to be very healthy, and it was thought to be the cure to many ailments, as well as it was used in ceremonies sacredly. And so it was a very special drink. Eventually, somebody thought of adding honey to it to make it sweeter, and Now we have a very sweetened version, right, of hot chocolate. So as you just lay back with the eyes closed, I just want you to go back to picturing that mug, the steam. Now the whipped cream or marshmallows are maybe melting and swirling around the top. Maybe you've got one long, super long straw in your imagination, so you're drinking your hot chocolate while you're laying down. And just feeling that warmth move through the insides of your body. Back in the Mayan time, chocolate was very expensive, very elitist, and it was considered to be a food of the gods. All right, let's go ahead. Stay where you are. Keep your eyes closed. Just go ahead and bend the knees, plant the feet on your mat. And then you might, well, I'm going to hit a dog, but you might wiggle the feet a little farther apart. And from here, just gently windshield wiper the legs so knees can drop to one side. And then you're making the decisions here about, is it a constant movement? Or once you get to one side, do you intend to pause? Do you intend to take a full breath? So it's completely up to you. Next time you bring the knees to center, hold there for a second. I want you to slide down your bolster away from it just an inch or two so that it's no longer the edge of it right up against the sacrum. There's space there. You could actually just put your hands right underneath your low back. And now go ahead and windshield wiper the legs and see if you like that better. I think Anna's become my new prop. Every time I go to the left, I end up on top of her. And sorry, I think in the video it looks like I have a headless dog here. All right, when you think you've done both sides evenly, you'll bring the knees back to center and I'll wait for you here. And then I'm just going to take my hands and reach back. I want to grab underneath the bolster. I just want to hang on to it. Or and you might find it easier to hang on to the block, completely up to you. Let's see here. If you're not using any props, might be easiest to take the hands right underneath the sacrum. So we're hanging on to something, and then I'm going to bring one knee in and then the other, and I'm hanging onto that block so I can pull my knees in a little closer. I have leverage to pull my knees in closer. I'm trying to get a little upward tilt of the pelvic bone. You should feel the low back filling out down towards the mat. And then I'm slowly, with control, just going to let the knees back away from me until my toes touch the mat. Keep control of the core and pull the knees back in. Hold it here. Try to round out a little bit more in the low back. So if your arms just hate being here, you don't have to hang on. You can still do this with them alongside you. I just thought it might be easier to have a little leverage. Go ahead, take the toes down to the mat with control, and then bring the knees in one more time. And this time you can use the arms to hug them in. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to set my feet down. I'm going to get my elbows to the earth first, and then my hands, and just gently push my way up. Straighten out the legs, flexing the feet. When you're ready, inhale the arms up. Exhale, come on forward slowly, slowly. Test out where your stretch is tonight. And then I want you to make your way back up. Reach behind you, grab that bolster, bring it around on top of your legs. I think I'm going to grab the block too because I want this pose to be sweet. So you might use that block to rest your forehead wherever it needs to be for you. You might not need the block, but here's the thing. I want the pose to be very comfortable and sweet, like we're used to our hot chocolate. It doesn't need to be bitter anymore, like the Mayans used to drink it, right? Some of the poses, they might not tickle your fancy. They might not be the best pose that you could conjure up or the one that you thought of that you'd like to do the most, but can you find the sweetness in each pose is the question on the mat. So we've talked about this word before in Sanskrit, it's rasa. So sweetness of life, sweetness of emotions. So go ahead and come into that fold if you haven't already, forehead resting on a prop. And as always, if the prop is too far away, don't worry about it. Just close your eyes, be content where you're at. So I want you to go back to the mug. I want you to take another sip. So that word rasa, it isn't really referring to the sweetness that you're tasting on your tongue. It's kind of referring to the experience that happens after you swallow that hot chocolate, right? I don't know. Maybe you can come up with some better words in your head. You swallow the hot chocolate, you feel warmth. You're probably really happy about it. It's comforting. Maybe it's nurturing. That is the sweetness. That's rasa, not the taste in the mouth, right? So where's the sweetness in this pose for you? Find it. I don't care how much you hate this pose. I want you to find something sweet about it. We're staying here until you do, and I feel like I'm picking up on your messages. All right, so I don't know, maybe some of you are thinking that you like the way that your legs feel grounded towards the earth. Maybe some of you are thinking, oh man, my back really needed to round out and that felt good to just lean over something. Maybe you were very grateful that we were using props. And what I noticed was my bolster must smell like essential oils. So I was pretty happy down low over the bolster because it smells really good right now. So yeah, we all came up with something different, right? All right, slowly make your way back up. We'll set those props aside, but not too far. And then let's come on over into table. And find your cat-cow here. And then come back to table. And just for Anna, let's walk the hands forward. We'll find puppy pose on the mat. So it's like down dog, right? But the hips are over the knees. Again, if the forehead doesn't come all the way to the ground, grab your block or something to rest your head on. Soften into the pose. Deepen the breath. And then give me a deep inhale. Super loud exhale. Perfect. All right, so from puppy, let's go ahead and walk our hands back in. I'm afraid I am gonna have to turn around for this one because there's just too much greyhound in my way. And then let's find modified plank and slowly meander on down to the earth. So left arm's coming in front of you, right hand's reaching back for the right foot. Let's draw that in. Too much on the low back, then don't pop up onto the forearm. And then from here, we're just going to take that right knee, bring it, sorry, Anna, out to the side in gecko. And so the right arm will be in scarecrow, and your head will be resting on the left hand. And just close your eyes. So I like this concept of rasa because there's just so much stuff going on, right? And if we can pick out the elements of sweetness to give us hope, to give us perhaps focus, might make the bitter stuff go a little bit easier. Emily Dickinson wrote that it will never come again is what makes life so sweet. So we can find the sweetness, right? Breathe it in. Breathe in the smell of that hot chocolate or those fabulous cocoa bombs. You know, maybe Anna being here, maybe she's a good analogy. She does not like any type of rain. It could be misting outside. Doesn't really like heavy winds either. And so to her, that's the bitterness of life for her. Right, Miss Anna? To come down here into the basement where she can get lower and closer to the earth, I believe, that's her sweetness. That's her rasa. So that's what we're looking for, right? She doesn't have to stay upstairs and lament that she can see the rain through the windows, and we don't have to stand still either. Give me a deep inhale. Hold the breath. Let it go. And then if you feel like moving, we're going to straighten out that right leg. I'm just going to bring the right arm across so I can reach back to the left foot. And again, you decide how high you want to come up on the front arm, if at all. And then when you're ready, let go of the foot, let that left knee come out to the side, and you'll find gecko on the left side of the body. So, have you ever had just kind of a crappy day? I know we've all had a crappy day. Let me finish that question. Have you ever had a crappy day and your intention was to get to yoga class and you really didn't want to go because your mood was low and you just wanted to be done with the day, but yet something dragged you to your yoga mat? And maybe for the first half of class, you're not really thrilled to be there and you're thinking, why did I come? Should have just gone to bed. But what happens when you get to Shavasana? What happens when you come out of Shavasana? Doesn't your mood change? Something has occurred. Something is different. It's kind of like adding the honey to that bitter hot chocolate. There's a sweetness there. And it reminds us that we continue on through the tough days because we're reminded of the sweetness. We're reminded of that feeling of Shavasana and how it's, I don't know, enlightening isn't really the right word. It's uplifting. It has a way of kind of connecting you to your inner self, but more so, I don't know, you know. And so, yeah, you know what? The next time you have a mug of hot chocolate, I want you to think about Shavasana. I want you just to enjoy what you're tasting. Don't gulp it down. Each sip is like a precious breath on your mat. And we move on from there. Let the hips soften a little bit more in gecko. Give me a deep breath. Hold it. Big exhale. And then when you're ready, slowly straighten out that left leg. We're going to take the hands down by the low ribs. Widen the feet to the edges of the mat. Now I'm pushing the hands down towards my feet. So I'm going to traction forward just a little bit. And then I'm going to find Cobra. And so you decide where Cobra is, but I just want to warm up the spine because we are going to come into a restorative supine back bend, but I don't want to do it unless we've warmed up the back. So let's find some movement here. You can totally play around if you want to. You can lift the hands and kind of just lift up slightly and come back down. You could take the hands forward, more in a V. Rise up, move around side to side, bending into the elbows. So find what you need here, because I guarantee what you find is going to be the sweetness in the hot chocolate. If I just tell you what to do right now, might not be what your back wants to do, might not be what you want to do. And the last thing we need on our mat in a restorative class is bitter hot chocolate. I try coming up onto your fingertips. Remember, the shoulders stay back and down in Cobra. And then come on down. Let's take the hands. They're going to be forward, so forward of the shoulders. They are, let's take them off the mat, just to the edges, right against the edges of your mat. And then come up onto the fingers. And then let's slowly lift up. I'm going to drop the right shoulder forward, bend into that right elbow more. Lift back up. Left shoulder. Now connect this with the breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, one shoulder goes forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, other shoulder. Give me one more each side. And then come back to center, slowly release down, slide the hands back, take this all the way into child's pose. And close your eyes. So I want you to think about how comfortable you are in this pose. If something isn't comfortable. And I want to go back to that cup of bitter hot chocolate. The cup of hot chocolate that was thought to be so nutrient rich. It only took one little change to turn that bitter hot chocolate into something sweet, something that we all want to drink. It only took that one change, somebody to think of adding honey. And so when life is not rasa, when it is a little tougher, when the path is bitter, can you try to think outside the box? One little change that you can implement that might turn it all around. So if you're not comfortable in child's pose right now, what is one little change that you could do? And do you feel like you're empowered to make that change without me guiding you? I hope that answer is yes. And take a deep breath in. Cleansing exhale. And then slowly walk the hands in towards you so you can sit back for a moment. I promised you a restorative back then, so we need the bolster again. I'm going to put it vertically behind me. More toward the middle of the mat though, because we're going to end up sitting on the edge. And then you're thinking ahead. If you don't like your head being upside down, blanket or block at the far end. And then go ahead and just perch on the very edge of your bolster. Slowly lay the spine back. And now I can tell that I don't want my shoulders up here on the bolster. So I'm going to slide back a little bit more. I want them to drop over the bolster towards the earth. Perfect. And then you could either take the feet wide, bring the knees together, or you could stretch out the legs. Play around, see which one makes you happier. Maybe you've got a third idea. And then let's close the eyes. Take your focus to your breath. And as that inhale comes in, just feel your movement against the bolster, and you exhale, and then how you settle back into that prop. I want you to imagine that any tension and stress or worries that you've been holding on to are going to just kind of pour out through the shoulders onto the mat, or pour out through the crown chakra, top of the head, onto the earth. And we're letting it go. Once it leaves, it doesn't get to come back in. Are you still focusing on the breath? I want you to feel the movement of the body. You might even change to 3-part breathing if you want to. which is, of course, inhaling into the abdomen, mid-ribs, chest, and then back down. And then after that next exhale, just let the breath go. Unless you have a dog next to you, you should be able to very carefully, I guess see where she is, roll off the bolster very slowly, one leg at a time, and end up in a fetal position. And just stay right there. When you're ready, go ahead and gently make your way back up. We're going to need the bolster again. We're going to need both blocks. We're going to prop, hope you can see this, the one block at its tallest height. Next one you can't see, but it's at its medium height. And bolster perched up on top. There we go. Let's take that blanket. It's either going to be a pillow or a blanket roll, whatever makes neck roll, not a blanket roll, whatever makes you happy. And then go ahead and scooch right up towards that bolster. Lay back first. Make sure the head's comfortable. And then let's send the legs right on up. I'm going to rest my hands on my abdomen so I can feel my breath. And close the eyes. So this will be interesting. Do your legs feel balanced on the bolster? And if not, how can we achieve some balance there? If you feel like your one leg is constantly going to fall off, I've mentioned this before, I kind of like to cross one ankle over the other. It kind of keeps them pinned together, right? You could use your strap, tie it around your legs. But I want you to find that balance if you can. If you feel like your legs are totally fine there, then I also want you to tap into feeling, do both legs feel evenly balanced? Like, is one more relaxed than the other? The other one's kind of like, well, I'll catch myself if I fall. I'm looking for even balance. I want you to notice the balance in the hips, the spine, the shoulder blades. I read some quote, it was something like, a balanced diet is chocolate in both hands. So we are looking for balance on the yoga mat and in our chocolate theme. So again, notice if you can smell the hot chocolate and you taste it. You might be feeling it. You might be imagining that your hands are around that nice, warm, steamy mug. I think I know what we're all doing after Shavasana, right? Making hot chocolate. And then let's go ahead. I thought of something that might be good to try here. Let's plant the feet on either side of the bolster. I'm going to get my arms under me so I can roll back up. My objective here is I want the block that's at its medium height. I want to use that one. So see if you can just get your bolster to prop up on the tall one. And then we'll lay back. Grab that one block with you. So if you don't have a block, if you have anything nearby that you can use to prop up a leg, if you have nothing, it's still going to work. So it'll be okay. All right. So as I stretch out the left leg on top of the bolster, I want to tuck my right foot, underneath my left thigh. So that's going to open up the right hip, kind of pigeony, but I want to take that other block and go ahead and put it right underneath my right knee, right thigh. You might have the block at its highest height. If you're okay with that knee being as it is without a prop under it, it's not too much of a hip opener, then I'm fine with that. You don't have to use the block. But if you think, no, that would be a little more comfortable if something were perched under my leg, which I'm not going to lie, it is, then go ahead and add it. So back to the mug of hot chocolate. I'm supposing probably most of us make our hot chocolate the same way every time. If you like it with hot water, that's probably how you always make it. And if you like it with hot milk, that's probably how you always make it. If you like marshmallows on top, that's probably what you always put on it. What I'm getting to is I kind of want you to conjure up one small change you could make that might make that mug of hot chocolate even more exciting. So don't go from whipped cream to a marshmallow. I mean, come on, come up with something different. Do you want to add a little bit of vanilla? Do you want to add some cinnamon? Keep going, keep thinking. Ooh, I just thought of you could drop like a Reese's peanut butter cup in there. Oh, that would be really good. I've never tried that, but that could be my change. I'm assuming you've thought of one addition to your mug of hot chocolate. So let's slowly go ahead and free that right leg. We're going to switch to the other side. So bring your block around. And I'm going to trap my left foot underneath my right thigh. That block is under my left knee. And as you close your eyes, now you have time to think of a different change you could do. So we're going to end up with two varieties of hot chocolate that we might want to try later, right? assuming that you have the second amazing idea. So we'll go ahead and stretch out that left leg. I'm going to take the right arm across the chest and use the left hand to help stretch it out. If it's easier, you could just interlace the fingers and let the left arm pull that right arm gently, of course. And then let's slowly take that to the other side. And then come back to center. Drop the feet on either side of that bolster. I'm going to use my feet to grab that bolster and let it tip in towards me. I want to move it to my left side. It really doesn't matter where it ends up. It could be next to you, or it could go the other direction, just as long as you have something for your left leg to end up on, your left knee. Grab that block as well, will you? So I'm going to take my feet to the width of the mat again, and I'm just going to let my knees fall to the left. So the bolster caught my left leg. I'm going to take that block and put it right between my left ankle and my right knee. Perfect. Now, what happens if, well, my legs don't make it to either of those props? I'm a little more concerned about the left leg. If it doesn't make it down to the bolster, use that block under the left leg. The right leg will find a place where it's comfortable. I have no fear about that. So close your eyes again. I want you to think back over your day, or if you're doing this video in the morning, about yesterday. And I want you to think of something you experienced that had sweetness to it. There was a sweet element to it, made you smile, brought you to that place of joy. And then just reach down, grab that block, and slowly pull the knees to center, and then hug them in. Will you round out the low back? When you're ready, set the feet down, move the bolster to the right side. Again, open the feet to the edges of the mat first, drop the knees to the right, and then the block will end up holding the left knee in place. Make whatever changes you need to. So Shauna Niequist, she wrote, "When life is sweet, say thank you and celebrate. And when life is bitter, say thank you and grow." When you're ready, grab that block, set it aside, pull the knees back to center, and then into the heart, Apanasana. And then if you want to roll to a side to push your way up, we're setting up one more restorative pose before, before Shavasana, but you can stay in it for Shavasana if you want to. And so when you do make your way up, I know you can't see my blocks because Anna's hiding them. 2 blocks, medium height, end of your mat. They're going to hold up the bolster. So you built like a little tower there. And then the blanket, you can either keep it where it was behind you for a pillow, or if your space is a little cold like mine is, which is why I keep petting Anna because she's really warm, you can cover up with your blanket instead. So we're going to get the calves up on top of our structure we built, and then go ahead and lay back. Let's go ahead and stretch the arms overhead. And then incorporating scarecrow arms, let's go ahead and let the elbows open out to the side. Let's see if your shoulders like this. If they do not, all you need to do is pivot on the elbows and bring the arms back down. Allow your mind to go back to your mug, hot chocolate. You know, we focus so much on what is in the mug. We didn't really talk about the container. So I want you to decorate that mug. Maybe you have a favorite one and that's what you were already picturing, and that's fine. Or maybe you'd like to create one in your head. Maybe you're gonna bling it out with some of your favorite crystals and stones, or maybe it has your pet on it, whatever it is. Just envision something that makes you happy, and that brings you back to this feeling of a sweet experience, rasa. Now, hang on to that feeling, that warm, sweet feeling that you get from having created this mug of hot chocolate exactly the way you'd like it to be. And I want you to think about this. What one little change could you implement in your life within the next 24, 48 hours that would really tap into this spirit of joy and bliss? That would really bring you to the experience of happiness. You know, it's not the event that occurs that makes us sad, angry, happy, joyful. It is the attachment we have to the experience. And where does that attachment come from? Well, that comes from our upbringing. It comes from our beliefs. It comes from our other experiences that we're playing off of, right? And so I really want you to experience the sweetness without necessarily being attached to where it's the situation it's coming from. Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyway, think of a change you can implement. That was my point. Anna's going to work on perhaps hanging out upstairs a little longer when it starts to rain. Right, Anna? She's in Shavasana. She's not even listening to me. All right, empty out the lungs. Deep inhale. Loud exhale. So if you're happy where you are, stay right there for Shavasana. If you can think of a sweeter position to be in, then go ahead and make your way there. I'm thinking the addition of a blanket because truly it is freezing down here. Get super comfortable. If you have a blanket and you want to cuddle up in it, you know, a little added warmth is going to help out our hot chocolate vision. All right, close your eyes. Deep inhale. Let it go. I want you to allow your mind to travel through your body. You're kind of just doing a little body scan to see if you feel balanced, you feel comfortable, and you feel happy. Should you not feel any of those three things, then make some changes. It's not going to be a big change, something little to help you be more comfortable. And then once you have found that place, I want you to take your focus to the crown chakra, the very top of the head. And so one of the crystals associated with the crown chakra would be clear quartz. So let's imagine that our crown chakra has a clear quartz cap right on the top of our head. And I want you to slowly unscrew that cap and just set it aside. All is good. Nothing is going to happen by opening that up. Now I want you to imagine I've walked over to you and I have this huge vat of steaming, warm, creamy, rich, sugary hot chocolate. And of course, not literally, but imagine I begin to slowly pour that into the top of the head. What I want you to notice is the immediate sensation of warmth. It is the perfect temperature, and it's going to warm you from within, and it feels amazing. And so as I begin to pour the hot chocolate into the crown chakra, I want you to feel it coming down the head, and it moves down the neck, throat. You can feel it moving all the way down through your chest. It's like this stream of warmth, and it has a mission, right? Because we're working with some gravity here. Its mission is to get the hot chocolate all the way down into your toes first. So I want you to follow its path. I'm going to give you a moment for you to really focus on the toes, and each one filling with this warm hot chocolate. And as they do, I want you to really try to feel that inner heat, and I want you to let the toes completely relax. I keep pouring that sweet, sweet hot chocolate, and it begins to fill up the balls of the feet. It moves into the arches. That warmth fills the heels. And then slowly it fills the entire foot, right? And then it begins to move up into both ankles at the same time because why? Because we're very balanced. Can you feel how warm your ankles are and how relaxed? Sometimes drinking a warm hot drink makes you sleepy. So imagine that everywhere that this warmth touches, that part of the body just wants to doze off. I keep pouring this warm, rich, hot chocolate, and you feel it starting to move up past the ankles, slowly up through the calves and the shins. That warmth makes its way up the lower part of the leg, all the way to the knees. And how amazing does that warmth feel inside your knees? I keep pouring, and that warm feeling moves up into the thighs, higher and higher, slowly making its way to your hips. And I'm going to pause there. I'm going to stop pouring for a moment because I really want you to notice from the hips down how relaxed the body is. It feels like your muscles have kind of all melted into the warmth, and the legs are heavy. And there's only peace. You're very, very relaxed. And so I continue to pour that hot chocolate into the crown chakra. And you feel it rise. It's moving up through the root chakra. It's moving up into the sacral. So it's filling the space beneath the navel. It fills your abdomen. You can feel that warmth moving out against the low back. How good does that feel? I keep pouring, and you feel that warmth rising up to the ribs. It slowly moves its way up into the chest. It surrounds the heart with loving warmth. It moves into the space around the shoulder blades, like a gentle massage. And then it rises up towards the shoulders. And then, of course, once it gets to the shoulders, it spills down the arms to find the fingers. Can you feel that rush of heat traveling down each arm? And so take your focus into the fingers. I want you to picture that hot chocolate filling each one and how warm it feels. I keep pouring, and that warm feeling moves up through each finger into the palm of each hand. It fills the space behind the back of each hand. The hands feel so relaxed. That warm feeling moves up through the wrists, and it begins to make its way up the forearm slowly. Can you feel the heat moving upwards towards the elbows? This would be a good time to notice if you have any joint pain in the elbows, that the heat takes it away. The heat feels amazing. And then that warmth keeps moving up through the upper arms. It's traveling back up toward the shoulders, right? And then it slowly rises up through the back of the neck, the front of the throat. It's just a beautiful warmth. And then it comes up to hit the jaw, and it just gently meanders up through the cheeks. Can you feel the ears getting warm? The nose. Feel warmth behind the eyes. In the temples. In the forehead. To the top of the head, and I stop pouring. And I pick up your crystal cap for you. And I screw that back on the top of the head. And I just leave you be, quietly, peacefully, in Shavasana. As you take your focus to your breath, allow the breath to deepen gradually. I was just about to say, bring some movement back into the body. Anna decided to shake. Right on, almost on cue, Anna, you beat me to it. You might want to stretch the arms overhead, or maybe you want to hug the knees into the heart. And if you decided to hug the knees in, go ahead and set the feet back down. Make sure the body is happy and peaceful. And just take the hands to the heart or lay them across the heart. Give me a deep inhale. Cleansing exhale. The light in me bows to the light in you. When I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.